Hi there. I am here to talk to you about some 3 areas that I'd like to make sure you're very aware of that are not fun to talk about. They are topics that could lead to immediate dismissal, which we don't want that for anyone. But we've discovered in the past few months that these are things that are what's causing people to be dismissed from Illume, and we certainly don't want that. And I don't want there to be any confusion about it. So let's talk about it. First of all, we've had an inordinate number of people, obviously on third shift is when it happens, who when they are working, they fall asleep. Certainly understand that it might be difficult to stay awake during the middle of the night. However, it is your job to be awake when you're working and when you're taking care of another person. So sleeping is not tolerated, and it is grounds for immediate dismissal. It has to be that way. It just does. And we've had good people lost for this, and we're very sad about it, but it really has to be an area of impeccability. No call, no show. This has also been an area where we've had really good people who perhaps at other agencies it's okay to not show up and not call, and maybe it's different if you're doing skilled visits that can just be rescheduled versus in our business where we are taking care of people and that really need to have during the scheduled hours that are specified. So no call, no show is also grounds for immediate dismissal. And in general, our attendance policy is something that is important for us to know about, and I wanted to review. So you're expected to be ready to work whenever you are scheduled. If you're running late, it's important to notify the office, to call the scheduler phone or call on call. Just call into the office and speak to the scheduler. If you need to make any changes to your schedule, the schedule needs to be coordinated through the scheduler, not through each other or through the family. And that's because we need to make sure everybody is communicated with and knows about the change. And the change in the schedule affects more than just being in the office or in the home. It also affects making sure that the schedule itself is updated and everything is billed properly, everyone is paid properly. So it's very important that you use the scheduler. Call-outs are very disruptive, as you know. If you're unable to report for work, you need to notify the scheduler within 3 hours, 4 hours prior to the started time of the scheduled shift. As long as you give 4 hours notice before your scheduled work time, an employee can use any available sick time or PTO to be paid out for that day. If you do not have PTO time, then you do not have that option. If you call out within 4 hours notice or call out without having PT or sick time, then you won't be paid for that time. We review call outs on a monthly basis, and employees with excessive call outs will be subject to disciplinary action. Employees may never leave a voicemail, send a text message, or email when calling out. They need to speak to a person. Employees cannot call out directly to a client, family, or facility, so it doesn't work for you to call the family. It doesn't count if you call the family or someone else. You have to call the scheduler. It's not acceptable for another individual to call out on your behalf unless there is some instance where you are unable, incapacitated to do it yourself. You must call out for every day you are out. So let's say you're out, you get sick and you're out for 3 days. Every day you need to call out and do it 4 hours before your scheduled work time. For 3 days or more of calling out from work, a physician's note will be required, and that's very important in our policies, that gets followed, and you will be asked to bring your physician's note before you're cleared to go back to work. When returning from 3 days out, a physician's note will be required, and bring that in to the office or give it to HR. Consistent failure to call in at least 4 hours prior to the scheduled work shift is grounds for disciplinary action and termination. And so an employee who is absent for 3 or more consecutive workdays without notifying his or her supervisor is considered to have voluntarily terminated employment. So we will consider that you have quit. So no call, no show is a form of termination. Absences of questionable nature or those that could have been avoided by planning in advance should be monitored. Tardiness, frequent short-term absences, pattern of Monday or Friday absences or Saturday, Sunday absences, days before or after holiday should be considered unsatisfactory attendance if you're doing that on a regular basis. Employees who do not comply with the attendance expectations should be counseled, and so you would have a verbal, a written, and then a termination. Attendance policy: to report a schedule issue, call our office, press 2, speak directly to the on-call scheduler. Be on time, stay the full shift, call out for each day you are unable to work. Call outs require 4 hours notice. Doctor's note required for 3 or more days, and more than 3 call outs in a 4-month period will result in being removed from your regular shift. Okay, so these are the very deliciously fun things to talk about, but very important, and we want to make sure everybody is aware of what the rules are and what will happen if the expectations are not met. All right, thank you so much, and go make the world a better place.